Good morning! Today I'm going to do my first book review. I'm going to talk to you about Poor Things by Alasdair. I actually came across this book while I was studying for my English literature exam last week. It's mentioned in the York Notes Companion to Gothic Literature, which is a really good book if you're studying the Gothic. And I was interested in it. I thought I wrote it down on my little list of books to read, and then I realised that we have a copy at home, and for years I've been staring at its cover wondering what it might be about. So, great opportunity to read it. The story is based on Frankenstein. It takes a lot of the ideas and actually the events of Frankenstein. So I like this book a lot. There are many reasons why I like it. First of all, the cover. Look at the cover. It's beautiful. I can do a sort of 360 view. Well, that bit of the cover's less interesting. But I really like that it's got a lot from the story on it, but without giving too much away. So when I looked at it before, I could sort of try and guess what happened, but it wasn't until I actually read the book, when I got to the scenes, I thought, oh, that's what that means. So that's really good. It's very clearly Gothic in terms of narrative, the way that it's set out. There's a framing narrative which goes through the discovery of this strange text and then tries to give proof to it. There are lots of letters which give different characters their own perspectives, and I found that that was really nice, really familiar to me, so I enjoyed that. I also liked the intertextuality in it. There's a lot of references to different books, most of them Gothic, but not all, and that's really great because you sort of recognise bits, you know, little lines or characters or names of characters that reflect other characters. I also enjoyed the discussions of politics and ethics in it. Sometimes I find those things a bit inaccessible, but because one of the characters is quite ignorant about those things, they're explained to her in a very simple way. Although there's a lot of bias, it's presented in a way that's kind of easier to understand, so I enjoyed that quite a bit. I also really like the structure of the book. It's got a lot of short chapters and the words are quite big, which means that it's quite easy to read, which I really enjoyed because in Frankenstein I found it hard to get through because it sort of felt like big dense blocks of text. I also found that it was really exciting. There were a lot of scenes where you had to keep reading because you just have to find out what's going on. It was a bit awkward. I was in a band rehearsal and I kept just reading the book. Meant to be playing, but had to find out what was happening next. So it's really exciting as well. I would recommend it to anyone who's read Frankenstein. Whether you've liked it or not, if you've read it and found it interesting and thought a bit about the ideas in it, then this is a really good companion to it because it sort of takes the ideas in another direction, shows you a sort of alternative scenario where similar ideas are discussed. If you're interested in ethics and politics, particularly in relation to science and medicine, it's a really good book. It discusses them in very interesting ways from a variety of viewpoints. Also, there's quite a big exploration of the woman's role in society. It's set at the end of the 19th century, although it was written at the end of the 20th century, and it explores the different ways that a woman could begin to be acting for herself and doing things for herself and the problems that came up against that. I wouldn't recommend it to people who are quite young or quite sensitive. It is an adult book, and although it's not particularly graphic in any way, there are scenes that are slightly violent, there are scenes where there's a lot of sex, and also some of the ideas discussed could be a bit scary. So, Poor Things by Alasdair is a really great book. I thoroughly enjoyed it and I'm sure you would as well, so if you read it let me know so we can talk about it. Also, if you've read Frankenstein and want to talk about it, down there, you can do all the talking. So, I'll hopefully be coming to you with another book review soon, but in the meantime, keep reading!